Home Trails podcast presented by me, Ultra Running Sam. Now, this podcast is part of the Home Trails media entity that encompasses our Home Trails documentaries. You may have seen them on YouTube, so where we interview famous ultra runners from around the world and in the UK at the moment. We film them on the trail and in the home, obviously, Home Trails. Get those insights into their training, big races they've done, and then just their background information. Try and dig a bit deeper into what motivates them to go and do these amazing things that they do. Also, part of Home Trails is new for this year is our live podcast coming from big races. You may have seen us at the Spine Race in January. We were there doing our thing all week. Later on in the summer, we will be at the Lap in the Lake District, and then keep your eyes peeled for other races where we'll be popping up and doing media coverage for some big races, hopefully. So, obviously, we have a podcast now, so we'll keep doing this every week. Keep churning out the podcasts with famous runners and people in the industry, anyone that we can get on that we feel that you might be interested in related to trail running and ultra running. So on with our guest. Yes, we're recording. Welcome back to the Home Trails podcast, Allie Bailey.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you? I'm semi-professional. I feel like a semi-professional broadcaster.
Well, yeah, you've been in the game, haven't you, long enough, so
Yeah.
you know what you're doing. You've been there,
Have
been
you
there, done that.
rebranded? Have you rebranded now to Home Trails Podcast?
Yeah, because everyone was just because it was getting confusing with doing the documentaries, and then everyone was like, kept saying the Home Trials podcast. And like, and it was actually our mate, our mutual friend Tom, hiking hairdresser, Ultra Iron Possible, that like he posted something and added me as like collaborating with him as the Home Trials podcast. And I was like, well, he's done it now. I may as well just accept that everybody just assumes it's the Home Trails podcast. So it's the Home Trails podcast presented by Ultra Running Sam.
That's quite a mouthful.
It is, but I'll just say the Home Trails podcast. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's been a while since you've been on.
HTP.
Yeah, don't make it even more complicated.
Yeah.
I'm a simple guy. Don't complicate things.
I won't.
Right. So yeah, we're here to talk about many things, but mainly your absolute storming victory at the Summer Spine Challenger North. So how are you feeling?
I
And
wouldn't say it was a
obviously,
storming victory.
well,
I'd
it
say it
was
was an accidental win.
accidental.
We're gonna go for the accidental win.
You only like a few hours behind the course record with that time, though, weren't you? Have you
Yeah, but that
looked?
it was not really. I don't care. I honestly couldn't give two
Don't.
shits. I do care. I care that I did a good job, but I don't care about that stuff. So I haven't really looked. Um, I did have a unicorn time of 52 hours, which I plucked out of my arse about a week before, and just was
Mm.
like, I just went for the South Downs, the Winter Downs number, and then I was like, but it's only 150 miles. Listen to this, listeners. The spine tell you it's 160. It's nowhere near
No, it's
160.
not.
Doesn't even touch the sides, mate. I got 154 on my watch, and it's 150 according to OS. There's a big difference in 10 miles at that point in a race,
There
like
is,
4 hours difference.
yeah.
So I worked it out on that and was like, well, I can't see why it would be any longer unless something goes wrong. And
Is
loads of
it to do
stuff
with
went
where
wrong.
it starts? It's not to do with where it starts, is it? Because
It's
it.
to do with the fact that apparently there are some extra bits to the Pennine Way. There's the Bowes Loop, and then there is another little thing, a little out and back or something that you can do.
Mm,
But you can't do the whole of the Pennine Way and the Bowes Loop and this bit because otherwise you'd be going backwards and forwards.
mm.
So if you add them all together, it's 268. But if you look at the South Downs Way is 100 and like 20 miles long, I think. But James just does 100 of it.
Mm.
So I don't know why they say it's 268 when it's not 268. I'm not having a go at them. I'm just saying when you're working things out, it
Yeah, that's
matters
annoying.
how many miles it is. It really matters. And 10 miles to me and you now, it's like, oh, that's a couple of hours, right? But when you're
Yeah,
fucking like
in the spine race,
up
yeah.
to your neck in
Mm,
Blenkinsop, 10 miles takes 4 hours. So
mm,
it makes a difference. So yeah, I worked it out based on 200-mile race times and I'd done a recce. So I was like, I think this is how long it will take.
mm.
But I didn't expect it to be that quick. I've got to be honest. I was thinking I've put 52 hours down on the sheet, but I think it's going to be more like 58. And I
Mm.
think it came in at 53.11. So obviously when I found out it was 53.11, I was like, you fucking piece of shit. Why couldn't you get it under 53? But that lasted a minute, and then I went, that's not very nice to yourself, is it? So just accept it, move, and no one cares, so just move on.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's what it is, isn't it?
But you're feeling like so it was unexpected, but obviously you are, any win is a win, isn't it? So you're feeling happy, and does it feel like you're sort of notching up another win, and it's like building confidence in your ability to go and put yourself at the front of a race for the win? Do you think?
I don't have any problems. I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't have a problem with confidence. I don't honestly like winning things isn't in my bag. I'm
Mm,
not bothered about winning things. To win something, everything it takes that in order to win something, there is so much shit that's out of your control. Who turns up on the day, whether or not you roll an ankle in the first 2 minutes, whether or
mm,
not you get ill, whether or not people are better than you, have trained harder than you. When I looked at those women around me, and I didn't look at the women, I didn't look at the lineup of women before I started because I'm not really interested. Um, because it's not their race, it's mine. It's not their event, it's mine. I can only do my best. I can only be me. There isn't room for me to be anyone else. So I don't really look at it. And I didn't know who any of them were. I knew Kate from before because I'd met her on the Challenger South, and then there was a few other people that I sort of knew through Instagram-ish, but that I'd sort of knew, but no one like that I knew. So
mm,
for all I knew said knew about 8 times. There could have been someone like fucking incredible. There could have been like eight really fast 100-mile runners. I don't know, and I don't care. And my confidence comes from knowing I've done the work and knowing that
mm,
I've done the best I can to prepare for that event. And what happens on that in those days, I can only control what I can control. So that's all I'll
mm,
do. And it's been drilled into me by myself and also by watching other people invest their happiness and their ideas of success in the idea of time or winning when that actually doesn't matter. And that's out of your control anyway. It's just an outcome. So the outcome generally will be a result of the process. So it's like fame. Fame is a byproduct of being really good at something. That's what it is. But people want to jump the being really good at something and just
mm,
be famous. Like they want to jump the actual bullshit work of training, doing strength, doing the sessions, having a cry, getting injured. Like they want to jump that bit and just go and
mm,
jump onto a podium or post an FKT. Or there's this new trend of people saying, uh, look at my amazing time for running this ultra and putting up their moving time as opposed to their elapsed time. And it's like, what are you fucking doing? Because you're just
That's not an
lying to
ultra. That's not an
yourself.
ultra.
It's mad. We found someone the other week that said they'd done the Tour de Giron in 33 hours. And then we looked at it and actually it took them 66 hours or something like that. And it was like, yeah, it was not, it wasn't the Tour de Giron, it was something else. It might have been Top Dret. But we were like, that's double. It took you double what you're saying you did it in. Like double. Like it took you like 2 days longer than what you're saying. Um, and I just think there's a lot of that people trying to get external validation is fine, and everybody likes to be told that they're good at something and that they're liked. But if that's where your happiness is coming from, then you need to fucking take a look at why you don't feel happy because you can't control what other people think. It doesn't matter what other people think. And ultimately, you can only do your best, can't you? So if you get a good
Mm,
result, that's brilliant. That is really good. And a good result being what society deems to be a good result, like winning, being the first person in is just being the first person in. Doesn't make me better than anybody else. It makes me the fastest person that day to get from A to B, but it doesn't make me better than anyone else or more
mm,
talented than anyone else. It means that the work I did for me paid off because I got well within that time that I wanted, and I met all of my success tick boxes, which were
mm,
things like eat really well, listen to yourself, look after yourself, don't be horrible to yourself, try and look after your feet. Fucking hell, that was a nightmare. Um, and problem solve, and that's it. And that's all that I did. That's literally it. There is no secret. It's not like I could be like,
mm,
oh, well, actually, I did this really special training regime that Holly put me on. I just did what I was told and
mm.
worked really hard. And that's that. That's the end of
Mm.
the podcast. What was that? 7 minutes?
Boom, done.
Bite-sized.
Um, right. So we'll put that to one side then, the whole like winning thing, and so and I want to come back to feet as well. Obviously, that's one of my favourite subjects for any spine race. But for you then, was this all part of your master plan then going forward? Because obviously you're in for winter full, aren't you? So when I did summer Challenge North, it was all part. It was because I got a place on the full winter. So I just thought, right, I've got to do Challenger North in the summer in the lead up to it. Is this where your thinking is going? Like you've successfully sort of ticked off the distances, and is this sort of you thinking that do you've obviously ran all of the route now separately. You've done recce's and ran all of it anyway, haven't you? So
Hmm.
is this all just part of the master plan of attacking the winter race in early 2026?
Yeah, because I like to be able to see where I'm going, be able to see where I'm going in the winter because it's dark.
Mm,
And I like to know how, you can only plan if you know what's going to face you. But the
mm,
problem is, you do the races in the summer, it's very different to the winter because the vegetation, like it's the vegetation, the weather, it's like a different fucking world. Like Burness is a different world because
mm,
of the high ferns and the high grasses. You're just fucking soaked. Like they're above your head,
mm,
you're soaked all the time. Coming through Bellingham up across that moor, usually there's no vegetation whatsoever. It's flat as fuck. But because it's the
mm,
summer, it's scratching your legs and it's poking you.
mm,
You can't see shit because all the trees have got leaves on them. Going towards Hornisted, where the fuck am I going? All these trees have got leaves on them. The bog is immense. It's not, it's hot solid. It's like waterbed.
yeah.
So you know it, but it is completely different.
Mm,
And I think it's just for me, I think you'll find a difference between men and women. The women will go and check this shit out and they will make sure they know what they're doing and they will look at it and they will judge it and they will make a master plan. Whereas the men will blindly throw themselves at it because that's
mm,
what the patriarchy has done to women and men. They men like, good boy, well done. You can do anything you want. Women, you shouldn't really be doing that. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And unfortunately, I have yet to escape that. And I like to be belt and braces because I don't want to suffer. I don't want to be Britain's most fucking brutal. I've paid money for this. It's my
mm,
leisure time. I want to have a really nice adventure where at some point I'll have a meltdown. And at some point I will have an imaginary friend that turns out to be myself. And at some point, like, I will see a man who looks like a toilet roll holder that is pretending to be a sheep halfway up the show. That will happen. Of course it will. But I am not fucking suffering because I'm not prepared. That is
mm,
not going to happen. Like, I want longevity in this game. I want like Mel to be able to call me and go, let's go for a 20-mile run in the peaks and go, yep, and go straight out. That's the aim of the game. And to be able to, you know, master running in the winter on that trail all the way to Scotland is such a dream for anyone. And I'm going to fucking do it properly because I tell you what, I'm going to enjoy myself. I
yeah.
will hate bits of it, but I'm going to enjoy myself and I'm going to give it the best possible shot that I can. And so doing south and north in the summer was so I could see what I was doing and I could
Mm,
be like, that's what that looks like. That's what that looks like. I
mm,
thought I could see some bits I couldn't see. Crossfell I couldn't see. And then being like, right, now what do I need to do to join this together and then cope with the winter? So I did the Winter Downs 200 last year. So I could be like, right, you've done a 200 miler in the dark.
mm,
So you know you can cope with the dark because I just don't like the dark. I'm not scared of it. It's just annoying. Like it's just you can't see. I can do that because I've done it on the Winter Downs. So
mm,
I know that's not going to bother me. And the other thing is, I think that the Winter Spine will have a lot more camaraderie than the summer races did because the summer races are quick. And I fucking because I was at the front, I didn't have any friends.
mm.
I was so lonely. I was like that Akon song, "Lonely." That was me. I just wanted a friend. So I got an imaginary one,
Yeah, they appear. Yeah.
and it was me that was the imaginary one, other
Tell,
me.
tell me about your hallucinations because all of my best hallucinations were on been on summer races, and especially Challenger North in the summer. What
Why do
did
you think that is?
I don't know.
I think it's the waning light.
But
I think
yeah,
it's slower.
it's
It goes
yeah,
slower.
that's
And then
true.
even at
Mm.
night, it's light. Like I was
It's
sat
weird, isn't
down.
it? It's like it's almost like so. I don't know if you had this experience, but it was almost like the sun never really went away. It kind of seemed to just go down behind a hill, but still kind of be there, and then just popped up again a few hours later. Because obviously, like we're closest to like the summer solstice, weren't we?
Hmm.
So the days were it's like super long, so the night was obviously super short, and it always felt like. the sun kind of, when you're in that kind of spine fog, like brain fog, that oh the sun's gone down, oh the sun's come back up again.
But it wasn't quick enough. The second night it wasn't quick enough. Like the second night was like I was like, when is it gonna fucking come up? Because when it comes up, I kick back into like normal. But in the second night, I left Bellingham at 9:30, and I was like, I need to get some space between me and the second lady because because Debbie pulled out. So I was like, this is the only fucking chance I'm ever going to have to win a spine race. The only chance.
Mm.
You need to start running properly. So I was trying to get some distance between me and Lynn, and I was running across the moor and it was getting darker and darker, and I was like, oh no. And like the sheep were getting like, you see the sheep and it's just turned into little black sticks. Then a badger came out and I was like, oh fuck, it is dark now. It is fucking 11 o'clock. Here we go into night two with the hallucinations. Fucking hell. But they weren't normal. I just felt like I was being watched all the time, and I felt like there was debt collectors coming to get me. So I kept seeing like three men in suits walking across the moor. I don't have any debt. I'm debt free since 2023. Like, why have I worried about debt collectors?
Mm.
And but the worst thing was this feeling that I was with someone, and I'm blaming Damien for this because he on the Traverse, he had this feeling he was with someone, and the
Mm.
person he was with turned out to be him, and he was having this conversation with him, and I think that was drilled into the back of my brain, so
Mm.
that I ended up feeling like I was with someone. You know that 5K run down into Burness? It's really
Mm.
runnable, a fire track. It
Mm.
was horrendous because my feet were so sore. And I was saying to the other person, we've got to fucking run this because it's runnable. So we've got to run it all. This other person was like, why? I don't understand why. Then this other person told me they had a tummy ache and that they needed a poo. And could I help them pull the poo out of their bum?
Weird.
Yeah. And I was like, having this full on, like, no, I'm not going to help you to do that. But the other person was me. By the time I got to the bottom of the hill and it was 2:30 in the morning, John Bamber was there with water. We had to take two
Yes, I
litres
know.
of
Yeah.
water up the
Yeah.
fucking hill because it was so dry.
Mm.
Uh, and he's like, you okay? And I'm like, no.
Was he in his tent? Was that where he has the
Yes.
tent at the side of the
But then
trail?
you were like, is that Father Christmas?
Yeah, it's the wrong time of year for
He
Sam.
making me a cup of coffee. He did make me a very nice cup of instant coffee. But once I'd spoken to someone, I clicked back into, okay, it's
Mm.
all right. But the feeling of being with someone that's not there and talking to them was a bit like early onset psychosis, which I've had. And it was immensely triggering. And I was like, I don't like this at all.
Mm.
And I got to Burness and just had a sleep in the church for 8 minutes. And then I was like, and then when I came out, it was getting light. And I was like, thank fuck for
Mm.
that. Because when it gets light, I still have hallucinations, but I'm like, it's light. I know it's a hallucination. That giant ice cream van is actually there. Like, um, but it's not. I think people really want to have hallucinations, but it's not. They're a sign you're tired or hungry
Mm.
or something's wrong. It's your brain trying to stop you. They're not that fun, and most of the time they're terrifying. So I wouldn't recommend it. And it's using energy you've not got.
It is, yeah. I'm a bit weird. I've realised that I quite like hallucinations,
I hate them.
and because I know that they're not real, but also, yeah. I was disappointed when I spoke to Nikki Spinks, and she was like, I was like, tell me about your hallucinations. She was like, oh, I'm not interested in hallucinations. I know it's not real, so I don't pay any attention to it. And I'm like, oh, that ruined my fun.
So there's a book called Hallucinations. It's about hallucinations. Uh, Kirsty Reed bought it for me. It's really interesting. And some people don't have them, can't have them because they don't have the brains to have them. Like it's usually the more creative people that have them. And I can pretty actually see that Nikki Spinks would just tell them to fuck off or just ignore them. So I reckon if there was a fucking knife wielding maniac who actually came up to her, she'd just be like, fuck off. It's like that's a real person. That's how she would deal with it. So I'm not really surprised to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
just don't have the ability when I'm that tired. Like I'm not going to respond to them, but it was just that feeling of having someone with me. It was horrible. Had to sit on the floor and try to sort my feet out for the 98th time. It's like
Mm.
someone's fucking watching me. Someone's fucking watching me. And there
Mm.
was that weird like dew on the grass, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was, and I was like, someone's fucking watching me. They're fucking watching me. And I felt like I was on cocaine. I've never taken cocaine, but I imagine that's what it's like. And then I turned round and it was a half strawberry moon and it was massive, just coming out from behind a tree. Fucking moon's watching me. It was horrible. It was like I was in a 1980s film and I was watching myself from above.
Mm.
Would not recommend. That's night two. So imagine how bad it gets on night three. By night four, it clears up, doesn't it? And you're like, actually, I'm not hallucinating anymore now because I'm just fucking tired.
I don't know. Yeah, I was like 5 nights for the full winter spine. So I remember seeing like giant jelly babies in the river going up to what's the one that's moved that was Middleton, so it's the river, isn't it? Yeah,
Oh
went
yeah,
going to there
Langdon
on
Beck.
yeah Langdon Beck. So those
Whee!
big boulders in
High Force, up High Force. There's
yeah
jelly babies
yeah
in
that's
High
it yeah
Force.
Jelly Babies at High Force, yeah,
Ah,
Jelly
that
Babies,
sounds like the name of a band that might be
wasn't
playing
too
Glastonbury this weekend.
yeah live at the Dublin Castle.
Yeah. Jelly babies at High Force, they're shit. The lead singer used to be in the Kooks. That sounds quite nice and doable. Jelly babies at High Force.
Yeah,
Some
it
of mine
wasn't
are
too
not
bad.
doable.
Yeah. Well, I had bears, so I had like
What,
a
like
long
big hairy gay men?
no big hairy animal bears.
Animal bears. Did you see the bears that escaped from the zoo the other day?
No, but that would set it off,
They
wouldn't
were
it?
very sweet. They ended up in the enrichment area and they ate all the honey and then they went back into their
Oh,
enclosure.
oh, that's a good story. Well, happy
Yeah.
end to that.
They-
No, I'd been previously over to Canada to see my brother, and I was obsessed with wanting to see bears in the woods over there. And I only got to see like one. I did get to see a bear eventually, but I kind of brought that back with me, and that was in my mind as I was doing Challenger Challenge North. So I kept seeing any shape like a tree that had sort of fallen over that was kind of in the shape of a bear that turned into a bear.
Were you scared?
No, no, I was
Uh,
just kind of like curious, but then I saw, um, you know, all those trees when you're going through Kielder Forest, where there's that bit where you get over that horrible climb where it's all trees and stuff in your face, and you
That
get
can get fucked. That's
yeah,
like a
that
mud wall
no,
with a
you
wall
know what
next
I'm
to it.
talking about. That's
Yeah,
the
and it's
one.
like
That's the
that
one.
is hallucination station because they're silver and they're glittering. They're all weird shapes,
Yeah,
and they
that's the one.
touch your face. You're like, oh, and you're like, how am I going up this mud wall?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
four
But
points of contact mud
you get
wall.
to the top, don't you? And then you kind of go on the trail, kind of goes swings around to the left,
Yeah,
and it's
that's where
kind
I
of
was.
over.
That's where I thought someone was following me.
Yeah, and that's the exact same place. So I was seeing giant knights in shining armor just like stood in rows in the distance. Like, and I was like, knight in shining armor there. It's not real. It's okay. So, and anyway, a knight in shining armor would come and rescue me anyway, wouldn't?
No fucking won't. Take your head off with his axe.
But then after that, I saw in the distance, I saw a a school teacher and a party of children, like little kids, out on like a school trip. Then I'm like, oh, that's so nice that that teacher's brought them out for us for like a trail hike up in Kielder Forest. And I'm thinking,
Or 3 o'clock in the morning on a
yeah,
Tuesday.
it's actually like 9:30 at night. Why would yeah? And then as soon as I rationally thought about it, they kind of disappeared. But the horrible one I had was coming into Alston, and I saw the Grim Reaper sort of stood up near a barn. And those you go through some fields, and there's like a tree and a barn on the right hand side, high up, and the Grim Reaper was just stood there, just watching me. And I'm like,
I got a
yeah,
mate called what's his name? I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, well, they used to have this company called White Star Running, and he would dress
yes,
up
I
as the
know, yeah,
Grim. He would dress up as the Grim Reaper and stand at the top of a hill on the llama tree.
it's probably him.
It was probably him. Yeah, I actually did happen upon a group of school children on Hadrian's Wall, but they were
Oh, you
out on a school
did.
trip.
They were
Yeah,
real.
and their teacher was like, "Oh, watch out for the speed walker," and I was like,
Ooh,
I'm
offensive.
actually a fuck. I didn't say fuck. I said, actually, I'm an ultra runner. And he went, oh, watch out for the ultra runner. And the kids were like, and he's like, how far are you running? And I went, 160 miles, because it's all right to say that when there's kids there. And they were like, whoa. And then they gave me a round of applause. And
Oh,
it was two
amazing.
o'clock in the afternoon, and
And it was real.
it was
Definitely
real.
was
But I
real.
was then forced to run on my battered, cobbled hooves because they
From
were watching me.
speed walking before.
Yeah, so it wasn't really it couldn't even be described as speed walking. It was more like death marching or like just dragging myself across
Yeah.
Hadrian's fucking wall.
That it's like up and down, up and down, up and down,
It
up
can
and
get
down.
fucked. It's like the Southwest Coast Path. That's what it's like.
And then you get to the Sycamore Gap, and there's nothing there, is there? What's there
Well, there
now?
is a stump.
What is there now? Just
There's a
is it still
stump
just
and a
oh,
big, and it's an enclosure, and it's got little things growing out of it.
oh God,
Um, and uh,
keep growing.
and it's a bit sad to be honest with you.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah, I think it was still there when I did. So 23, summer of 23, it was still there. So I had a photo of it. I was just kind of like delirious. Was like, I know this is important. I've got to get a photo of it. So I kind of stood there and took a selfie with it in the background, and then walked back and took a photo of it again. And then it was gone. A few months after that, I think it was gone.
Coincidence? I think not.
Right, let's talk about feet.
Feet.
Because I've never, ever, ever, ever had feet that bad before, and never since.
They felt worse than they were. They're better now. They're absolutely fine.
Mm,
They were so sore, and everyone I spoke to in checkpoints was like they're burning, and it felt like they were on fire.
mm,
Like it was wet from the off, and it was wet going across Great Shunnagh because it had been raining,
yeah.
and then you go through those bloody fields to Thwaite. They're wet.
Mm,
What you don't, what people forget again is the vegetation is different in summer to winter. So in winter,
mm,
you've got a hard packed floor. It's very hard. You've got the frost, you've got the snow. So that presents a different problem in that your feet feel like they've been bashed to death by
mm,
fucking football boots. But this was both. So it was really wet, but then hard underfoot. So your feet were getting really wet and like um saturated,
but
but
still back.
then they were being battered. So they were getting that burning feeling, but they were ripping because the skin was fucking wet. You can't wear waterproof socks. It's too fucking hot to wear waterproof socks. And you cannot keep them dry. And I was doing my absolute best with them, but I couldn't, there was nothing I could do. And then I came past Rasta Ralph, so I was trotting my way over Blenkinsop.
That's
And
right.
suddenly
You know
I
a can of
just,
Stella, did you?
no, I didn't. I ate one of his tiny chicks. I picked it up off the floor, bit his head off. I just thought, cut out the middle, man. He's gonna offer me a cooked one in a minute. So I'm just gonna fucking eat this like a fucking barbarian. I didn't. I stroked the little chick's head and I said,
Oh,
"Go well, little chick." Um, I was running down a hill like Kate Bush, and suddenly I just felt it go, and when it just suddenly your foot fills up with warm
mm,
liquid, and you're like, "That's not water." And I was like, "Ah, for fuck's sake!" It was Tuesday morning, and I was like, "I need to look at this." It was pissing with rain, so I sat down in the middle of the fucking field just before Astor House. I took all my shoes off, got my tape and my fleecy web and stuff out. What was I doing? It was all getting soaked and
mm.
desperate, and there's this huge blister on the bottom of my foot that had exploded, then folded in on itself.
Whoa.
But the hole in the middle of it, when you looked, it was just red flesh. So it's like that's not happy. I can't chop the skin off. That is like going to be an open wound. I need to cover it up. So I fleecy webbed it, wrapped a load of tape around it, and cracked on. I could feel it moving because
Mm,
because I didn't want to put my dry socks on because I was literally no point, and it's mandatory kit. I need to keep a pair of dry socks. Thought, fucking hell, got like 15 miles till I get to Bellingham. The other one went, the baby toe went. They were just going pop. It was like walking on bubble wrap. It was like pop, 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 pop. And I was like, I don't have bad feet. I got lovely feet. They're beautiful. I could make a lot of money on OnlyFans for my feet. So this is a disaster. They were so sore. And then I got to Bellingham and there was this medic called Al. He was very young. I think he was about 12. And he wasn't interested really. But I was like, please, I can't bend. I'd fallen over and I'd really grazed my knee. And I couldn't bend my knee up to look at my foot properly. Also, I'm an ultra runner, so I have the fucking elasticity of a board of
yeah, yeah.
wood. So I got him to look at them and he did that face where it's like, and I was like, don't look like that. Can you just stick the fleecy web on the foot? No, we don't do feet. Eventually, I managed to get him to help me put the KT tape on. I just sort of taped round them. And I came out of Bellingham and I was like, for 2 incredible miles, I was free.
So good.
I was
Mm,
pain free. I was like, this is
mm,
amazing. Everything's working. And like,
mm,
the best thing about this is I work my fucking tits off to be super strong. I do my sessions, I do my gym, I do all of it. Nothing else hurt. I was like, I am going to smash the shit out of this. Ce n'est pas un problème, as they say in
mm.
France. 2 miles later, the minute you hit something wet, you just
Back
fucking
to
feel it move and like rip the skin. And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's
yeah.
so sore. And it's the same with everybody. They were
Mm,
just so sore. But what can you do? Because you're not going to stop, are you?
mm. I
And
mean, you
then,
feel
yeah,
golden, don't you? You feel that it's you get patched up in a checkpoint, and then you set off again, and you're like, yeah, I'm moving so well, I feel really good. And then, like you say, just literally within half an hour, it's the pain comes back
I
and
saw a picture of someone who'd duct taped their feet. They'd actually
duct
black
tape.
duct taped their feet. And I thought that's quite a good idea. But then I'm like, it will eventually, it's not gluey enough. It's not
No.
gluey enough to stick because they're so wet all the time. I thought, oh, right, do you know what? It will dry out now. And it didn't. It just
No,
didn't. The
don't
woods
dry out, do
between the woods between the wall and Hornistead were saturated. And there were loads of flies in them, like, and it was just so you couldn't stand still for a second. It was just,
they?
yeah, there were lots of things that were bad. But honestly, like the top side of it was like it was we were lucky with the weather. You know, the only terrible weather was on Crossfell. You expect that anyway. And yeah, it was wet and it rained quite a lot and it was windy and there was cold bits and it was boiling and I've got sunburn. I've got all of it, sunburn and trench foot, all of the hits. But we were lucky with the weather because it started the minute I think the minute the last finisher came in, thunder and lightning rolled in. It was like
Perfect timing.
held off, so that's good.
Mm.
What do you expect from a race like that? You're running to another country ultimately, so
Well,
you can't do a weather report.
no, we had it for the summer 23. It was like torrential rain and thunder and lightning when we set off, and Nikki Spinks was again the curse of Nikki Spinks. She was there in the tent and she was like, "Oh, I'm glad I'm a volunteer on this race." I was like, thanks, Nikki," because it absolutely chucked it down, torrential
It's
rain,
not
and
so
you were
bad
all
when
stood there
it's not
waiting.
so bad when it's warm, I don't think.
But then it
Skin's
was
waterproof.
thunder and light. So you obviously you come out the field, don't you, at hard draw, and you start powering up the hill. So we're
Hmm.
powering up the hill, and you can see on the top of Great Shunnafell, lightning striking the top of it
Oh yeah, I
as
think
you go
Dean
really
said that
dark.
he sees that he was on that race
Mm,
and it hit it and just went like this. If when you see lightning hit a hill, you see the dust come up, don't you? I've
mm,
seen it on Dragon's Back when it hit
it's
the
mental.
not Snowdon, the other one, and I was like, "Fucking hell!" That's so scary.
Yeah, it
Um,
was a bit worrying, but
yeah.
it stopped by the time we got to the top anyway. But it's still chucking it down, and that was the same. So feet soaked right from the start. Then the sun came out, everybody's feet swelled, and then I regretted my choice of shoes. And I think, yeah, I didn't even. And then I realised I hadn't got enough pairs of socks. I can't remember how many pairs of socks did you go through? Have you got like a spreadsheet?
Alston, changed them at Middleton, changed them at Alston, changed them at Bellingham. Had to have a pair in my pack for mandatory kit, so I went through three.
I think I ended up borrowing. I think I well, not borrowing. You don't borrow socks, do you, on the spine? A volunteer gave me a pair of socks at Bellingham because I'd used up all of mine. Because I started
What were you
getting
doing?
I got started getting blisters from. So my first blister appeared, and there's obviously no going back. Literally coming out of Middleton. That's only like it was like 30 odd miles in, isn't it? 35 miles in.
Yeah.
Um,
I just think that that with that, it's like, what's the point of fucking around with your feet? Because you're not gonna make it any better by changing your socks. You're just not. Like you can manage it the best you can, but I think it's best to put your head down and be like, this isn't gonna kill me. These blisters aren't gonna kill me, and
mm,
keep them as wet as you can. If you can cover them, but really you just got to go. I'm going to deal with you. I dealt with things at Middleton,
but yeah,
Alston, and Bellingham, and didn't. And then on the from Bellingham up to the end, I dealt with them a couple of times, but out of pain, out of the fact that I was like, this is searing. I have to re-flap this over and try and
mm,
just smooth it down, which I did, and then I was able to keep jogging.
mm.
But yeah, I just think a
Do you
lot
have
of
any
people.
painkillers? Any pain relief?
Yeah, I took loads of Anadin, because Anadin's paracetamol, caffeine, and aspirin.
It work.
So I took a good decent amount of Anadin, but I was taking them every 4 to 6 hours. Um, it wasn't really touching the sides, but then I don't know if it was touching the sides, do I? Because I don't know what
Yeah,
it would have been like
exactly.
without.
Codeine. I had codeine, and I had a load. So my boss is like my codeine supplier. He's got like a massive stock of them because of his back issues, and obviously this is not recommended. But it's one of the things that they do let you have that cocodamol, don't they? They
The
let you
problem
have
is
on the race.
when you're an addict, you tend to avoid that shit because
Yeah,
it's quite
yeah,
addictive. But the
mm,
other thing is
mm,
codeine gives you really it backs you up really badly. Do you not find that?
yes.
Gives you really and
Yeah, it
so
did. But I was
that
just
just
thinking that's fine on the on a race.
but it's not. Have you ever seen anyone have you ever seen anybody with compacted fecal vomit?
No, it's not something that
Do
I've
you want to know what
Googled.
it is?
Well, I know, yeah, I know
Yeah.
what it is. I've,
If you compact yourself,
mm,
it'll end up coming out of a hole.
yeah,
Maybe the wrong one.
yeah.
So I'm like steer clear of that shit on races. And also I used to take a lot of codeine on races when I was drinking.
Mm,
And I basically on the Ultra 100 ripped through the entire lining of my stomach by
oh,
eating codeine. Like nom 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 like sweets. I was eating it like
mm,
caffeine bullets. So now I'm like, I'm all right for that, thanks. But I
yeah,
just fucking can't have anything that's got anything
yeah,
in
addictive in
it
it.
that might make me go, oh, that tastes nice. Give me some more.
Mm. Well, I just associate it with the pain of the spine race, so it's not really something that I didn't come back and think, oh, I could do with some codeine now. I'm quite happy to just leave it to one side.
I wouldn't mind some morphine or naproxen if anyone's got any of that for the actual spine. Can't see a problem with that.
Or just
Some gas,
some
some
straight heroin.
air. Yeah. Or just some crack. Spice. I felt like I was on spice for the good part of the early hours of Tuesday morning, to be honest. It was horrible. Then John Bamber turned up and it was like Christmas time.
Yeah. Did he? So when I got to John Bamber at that point, I was feeling really tired, and he convinced me that I could go and have a sleep in like a disabled toilet further down the hill on the
Oh
left.
yeah. It's not even further down the hill, it's literally on the outside of that
Is it?
field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went delirious. So he um he was like, you can go and have a sleep there. You can't stay in here for X amount of time. But they kind of like somebody patched my feet up and did something to me. And then he was like, do you want a coffee? Gave me the world's strongest coffee with like 3 sugars in. And I necked that. Well, I was feeling so sleepy. I was like, right, I've got to go and have this sleep now. So I went into the toilets and got my bivy bag out, my sleeping bag, and I was like, right, I'm actually going to use this for a proper like 10-minute, 15-minute, 20-minute, whatever it is, power nap. I'm going to sleep comfortably. And then I was like pulling the bivy bag on, and I was like, bing, wide awake. I'm like, that coffee's just hit me now. There's absolutely no point in trying to sleep now. So I literally just wasted like 10 minutes faffing around with my kit and put all the
Classic
stuff
bit of
back
man
in my
faff
bag.
that.
Yeah, I'm trundled off, but I'm terrible for faffing in races anyway. And it's something I've got a real issue with that I need to sort out if I do
I'm brilliant
anymore.
at not
Mm,
faffing. Very good at not faffing. I don't think I faff enough.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm good at not faffing.
What's your strategy for checkpoints then? What do you do? What do you not let you do, and what not let yourself get
I
like
had
sucked into?
my bag is absolutely packed like a ninja, so I know exactly where everything is. I have a very clear strategy. This is how long you're allowed in here. So for Alston, I allowed 3 hours, and for Bellingham, I allowed 3 hours, and that included a 90-minute sleep. So straight in, shoes off, eat. While you're eating, you repack your bag. So while you're waiting for your food to be given to you, you repack your bag, feet in some cold water. Uh, so your bag's packed, ready to go, refill with water. So the minute you wake up, you can leave. Upstairs, shower if you can have one, new kit on, old kit into a dry bag in your bag, go to sleep, get up, eat your breakfast, put your bag on, fuck off. That's
Mm,
it. If you're not eating, resting, or running, you're doing something wrong. That's the
mm,
general like rule. It's no faff. And I actually, my dwell time, my overall dwell time, Holly worked it out was 6 hours and 17 minutes at all checkpoints.
oh God,
So it
yeah.
was nothing. Like I couldn't sleep at Alston. I had maybe like 10 minutes at Alston. Couldn't sleep at Bellingham. I maybe had 1 minute. I just slept on the trail. I slept at Hadrian's Wall on the trail. And then if I needed to, lay down at Burness, laid down on the Cheviots. It's fucking hard to find someone to lay down on the Cheviots because there's sheep shit everywhere. And if you think I'm putting my £200 bivy bag down in sheep shit, you are grossly mistaken. Um, so that's what I did. And I learned a lesson. And that lesson is I thought I needed either 90 minutes or 3 hours or I'd
Mm,
be an arsehole. Turns out I can do 1 minute. So
mm,
it would be different in winter because I want to be inside. I don't want to dive cold. And when I get cold, I turn into an absolute dick. So I've got to just manage the cold, but maybe it'll be hot. Who knows? We don't know till we
don't
get
know.
there.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
what I do know
could be
is
really mild.
I will allow that time so I don't feel like I'm under pressure. Usually, and I'll always leave before my time is up.
Mm,
Um, and I think I allowed myself an hour at Middleton. That was all I was allowed to eat something just to get changed
yeah,
and
yeah.
put my
Mm,
pajamas on, as I call it, and sort my feet out. But it took 42 minutes at Middleton.
mm,
And that was it. There's nowhere else to stop, really, is there?
no.
When I came off Crossfell, there were a lot of people in Greg's Hut. There's no safety team in Greg's Hut in summer, as you know. But I was like, I'm not fucking fannying about. I know it's been hard on Crossfell, but I'm just not fannying about.
You want to
Ultimately,
get down, don't you?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I want to get down. When I
Mm,
got to Garrigill, someone told me it was 7 miles to Alston. And in my head, Garrigill and Alston were the same fucking place.
mm,
Turns out they're not. And I
no.
was furious.
Mm,
And Hannah Rickman, Mel Sykes, Laura Swanton-Rivellin, and Sarah Perry got the end of my wrath in various individual WhatsApp messages about the whereabouts of Alston. So somewhere on someone's on their phones are some very interesting messages from me being
mm.
angry about
It's a kick in the
Alston.
teeth, isn't it, when you come down off Crossfell and you're like, yeah, oh yeah, I know I'm dropping down off Crossfell to get to Alston, to the checkpoint. but you get to the bottom of the valley, like you say, and you're in Garrigal. The angel wasn't out, was she? Was the angel of
No, the
Garrigal out?
angel wasn't fucking there.
No.
And I've got I feel like it's something to do with the fact that I am a practicing witch. That this shit doesn't happen to me. Like, fucking Angel of Garrigan. Where's these Slaggyford people that Damien keeps talking about? Remember Slaggyford? Well, I'm not remembering Slaggyford because nobody was there to give me any food at
Yeah.
Slaggyford.
Mm.
I had to go to the new cafe at Walltown. There's a new cafe at Walltown. Good egg sandwich and a Sprite. Banging.
Um, talk about food then. What worked? What worked for you? What have you learned about what food you're going to carry for
I've learned
before
I take
winter?
too much sweet stuff. Bearing in mind I've been doing this for like 15 years, you'd
You
think I
get
would have
sick of
known
sweet
that by
stuff, don't
now.
you? Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I had enough carbs. I packed it all into different bags, and then I would just pick up the bag and put it into my bag, and not like I'll just take these bits out of this old bag. I didn't do that. I was drinking Active Root the whole time. I was drinking 2 liters of Active Root at a time because there's so many carbs in it.
Mm,
And then I got sick of that at Bellingham, so I went back to water. I had buttermilk bars, hula hoops, Twixes, gels, a few gels, Vela Forte chews, and that was it. What I needed was like a vegan sausage roll or something like a sandwich,
yeah.
which I didn't have.
Mm,
And I think I'm gonna have to get a front pouch. I don't like the idea of a front pouch, but to store sandwiches and wraps and stuff in because I was sick of the sweet stuff. And and I was eating a lot at the aid stations. I always do. I'm like a fucking gannet. I don't have a problem with eating. Um, and but then I was dying between Alston and Bella and Hornistead because I'm like at Hornistead I can have anything I want. It's the promised land. Uh, but there was a new cafe at Walltown, so I got an egg sandwich. It was brilliant.
mhm.
And I think I said on Instagram, and I quote, "It's the hardest eating this egg sandwich is the hardest thing I've ever done." That's how dramatic it was. It took me 15 minutes to eat it, but I did eat it. Uh, and then when I got to Hornistead, Helen had made cheese and coleslaw rolls. Oh, cheese and
Nice.
coleslaw baps and a banana. But yeah, I was eating really well at all the checkpoints. I had some really nice food actually. Good on you, volunteers. Well made food.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all good, aren't they?
Yeah, I
They're
just need more
they do.
savoury options. So I'm going to take one of our athletes today told me that they've been eating white pita bread stuffed with hummus. I'm like, that sounds amazing. I'm not sure
Mm,
how dirty that would get on the trail,
yeah.
but maybe you could put the hummus into like a jet, like one of those soft flasks, fill it with hummus and just squirt it into the pita bread. It's actually a really fucking good idea.
You just invented some new trail food.
Yes, I have just invented some vegan trail food. That's an amazing idea. I'm gonna start
Get it
doing
out
that.
there.
Yeah. You know those little weird gel things you can get where you put your gels into the plastic but thing? That was full of
Yeah, yeah.
hummus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'd work. Mm.
My
Takes
biggest
you
fear.
making
Do you want to
hungry
know what my
now.
biggest fear is, Sam? Do you want to have a guess what my biggest fear is?
Spontaneous combustion.
Wet bread. Can't have it near me. Not interested. Don't put that fucking wet bread near me. Don't. It stems back to deep childhood trauma on a school trip, and I can't have it near me. It makes me feel sick. So I can't
Like
make
a cucumber sandwich.
no.
That kind of wet.
I think Damien bought me a. Oh, do you know what he bought me at the end? He knows my deepest fears. He bought me a ploughman sandwich that had been in the car for 2 days. Can you imagine how wet the bread was?
Ooh.
And he was walking around with it like it was a Tamagotchi, like I was going to eat it. I was like, "Can you take that away from me, please? Because it's frightening me and giving me post-traumatic stress disorder." But wet bread, I need to be able to make sandwiches on the hoof or have a sandwich that's not going to be wet. Maybe use
Mm,
Lurpak as a barrier. I don't know. I need to work on this
yeah,
strategy.
that's a way of doing it.
Or
Or
wraps.
build it separately. Build it
Yeah,
separately.
yeah.
But then you've got to stop and do that. Can you do it while you're running? Can you?
I don't mind stopping to do it if it means I'm going to get a delicious sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
it's worth it sometimes, isn't it?
Or maybe if the people who run the honesty boxes are listening, can you make some fucking savoury food, please? Like some little corn Scotch eggs or like little corn sausage rolls wouldn't go amiss. Just a
Yeah,
suggestion.
Scotch eggs. Yeah, Scotch eggs. Like basic Greg's food.
Yeah. Steak
Mm,
slice, ginster's pasty, whatever.
yeah.
I'm gonna be one of those fucking on pouch wankers so that I can eat like
All
the big
absolutely
pasties.
full of pasties.
Yeah.
The perfect shape though, isn't it? The little square. You
It's
get your pasties
perfect. You get 10
lined,
pasties in
pasties
there.
up.
A kilogram's worth of pasties.
A pasty pack. It's a
Yeah,
pasty pack.
pasty pouch.
Pasty pouch. There you go.
Yeah, with hummus holders, or like you could put tomato ketchup in one. God, it's living the dream. I'm gonna have the best time on the winter spine until I realize everything's fucking frozen.
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, I remember coming down from Hike Up Nick, and both of my bottles were just completely like blocks of ice, and I
That's
was
what
just
boobs are
thinking,
for, Sam.
it's okay because yeah, yes, yeah, hmm,
Technically, it's not what boobs are for, but they are helpful for putting things down that you don't want to get frozen.
keep warm. Yeah,
Did he? My
that
friend
is true.
Sean
Mm.
thought that Hike Up Nick was a mountain called Nick, and people were saying Hike Up Nick. He didn't realize it was called Hike Up Nick.
Oh,
What a fucking
you
idiot!
gotta go Hike Up Nick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta go Hike Up Nick. What an idiot!
Makes it does kind of make sense, yeah. Yeah. Did you have any good views of that? Because when I went through in summer, it was all fogged out, but then winter, it was glorious.
No, I had a lovely view of it. Thank you very much. It was delightful. It was fucking windy though. On the way up there, there was this
Yeah.
wind that was like in your face, so you couldn't run into it because it was really pushing you backwards. And I remember trying to run down a hill, and I couldn't actually run down the hill because the wind was so high. That was really annoying. And that was 2 or 3 hours of just being fucking annoyed about the wind. Really annoyed. But then it was all right. It's got stuff done,
Um,
and everything was okay.
yeah. So
Mm.
do you feel like this is sort of ticked a box for you then that I'm not going to go back to confidence again, but like it's obviously part of your plan to do it and everything. So are you feeling ready for the full winter?
I feel
That's what I'm trying to
content
get at.
and yes, and as ready as you can feel. And I'm pretty sure that that will change when we go out of summer and into winter, and you realise how shit winter actually is. But I've got the dragons back between now and then, so that'll be nice. So I've got to
Yeah.
go and finish that because I DNF'd it 3 years ago and I want to finish it. So at the moment,
Mm.
I'm not thinking about winter spine. I'm just thinking about Dragon's Back. I'm not even thinking about Dragon's
Yeah,
Back. I'm
that's good.
thinking when can I start running again? Because I haven't had a run for a week. But I will be back out it at the weekend in the lakes. I think just having some jogs with the
Mm.
dog. Um, and I'm just like I think I'm I couldn't have asked for a better result, obviously. And I am just it was one of those races that everything went right. Everything that was in
Mm.
my within my control went right. I can't say you should have done better at this because I didn't. There's nothing I could have done better at. And I think that's really rare. It's really rare to have a
Yeah.
race roll out where you're like, that was
Mm.
perfect. Even the bits where I was in tears and I was like, I hate this. Even the bits where I was like having a psychotic episode with my little friend that was also me. Even on the Cheviot when I was like, this is where I die. That's what you come for, isn't it? That's the whole point.
Mm.
Like we live in these bubbles where we're like so fucking mollycoddled. Like we're never bored. We never reach the edge of our limit. We can always soothe with electronic devices or other people's lives. You can't out there. You fucking can't.
Mm.
You can't. There's no reception and your hands are too cold to move, work your phone or it's raining. Like
Mm.
you can't. And I think that's even like coming back, and I love my athletes, I love my work, but I'm like, there's been a couple of times in the last 48 hours where I've been like, I fucking so wish I was back on the hill. Like I feel like the hill is where I belong. Um, Even though at the time I was like, I just want to go home and have a
Yeah, but
cuddle from my
there's
boyfriend and a
something
cup of tea, toast.
there's something nice, isn't there, about just being out there on your own, um, powering away with your poles and not having nothing to think about other than just
Yeah.
moving forward.
Yeah, and like now when I think about my feet, I recoil. Like that fucking hell, that was actually quite bad. Like I couldn't walk
Mm.
properly for 3 days. It was really when I got back, I was like, I can't walk on these. They were bad.
Mm.
But and I think about that now and I'm like, oh my God, like if suddenly I looked at my foot now and there was a hole like that in my foot, I'd be like, fuck. But when you're in that situation,
It's
you just
normal.
deal with it. So you've got this all this stuff inside you that you're like, oh, I didn't realize I had that in me. I didn't realize I had that rationale. I didn't realize I had that calmness. I didn't realize I had that resource. And I think you can only do that when you allow yourself to be put into those situations without fear. So when you go into the situation with curiosity and excitement about an adventure and the problems that are there to be solved, rather than being terrified, you you'll come out with such a great result. Like whatever that result
Mm.
is, whether you're the last person on the course, the first person in, the person in the middle, doesn't matter. As long as you've met what you came for. Like, have you got what you came
Mm.
for? Yeah, I did get what I came for and some.
Mm.
And I know that the winter spine will probably be one of the hardest things I ever do. And I know it won't be all be fun and games, but that's what I'm going for. I'm going to
Mm.
see. if I can translate this calm, like problem solving, really enjoying myself. Some of the stuff I saw, like we had a beautiful sunrise over the Cheviot. I saw a badger, he was running
Mm.
along. I saw a couple of barn owls. I saw a monk jack jump over the wall at Hadrian's Wall. I really hope he didn't just jump over the wall and die. But like this is stuff that you remember. This is living, isn't it? This is stuff that you remember. I had conversations with myself, which I didn't particularly like, and I think that, and I did meet some lovely people, and I think that's it. Like, what else can you ask for?
Mm.
There isn't another way of doing that,
Yeah.
is there? There isn't. If you're a
Mm.
cyclist, you rely on the bike. If
Mm.
you're a fucking windsurfer, you rely on your board. If you're a boat person, you rely on your boat. If you're a fisherman, you rely on catching fish. But if you're an ultra runner, all you've got to rely on is yourself. That's
Mm.
literally it. There is nothing else to rely on. Just you. Such a pure way of doing things. And I think,
Mm.
so I've been searching for a piece within running for years. I fucking wrote a book on it. But I really did. The one word that I would use to sum up that race is contentment. Because I finished that race and I was
Mm.
absolutely content. And it's not because I won it, it's because I'd done what I said I would do. And
Mm.
I couldn't have done it any better. And I got the experience that I wanted. So, and the reason I did that, I got that experience was because I worked my tits off. I'm not one of those fucking people that's just going to go, I'll only do half the plan and then go and do it. You
Mm.
cannot hide on the spine, can you? You can, it shows you up for who you are.
That's you. Mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. Great to hear. It's nice to. It's always good to, when you interview somebody and they spend the whole time sort of telling you all the bad bits. So it was. I'm so pleased that you've kind of got that outcome. And you're right. Wouldn't have mattered if were first or last, as long as you've got what you wanted from that race. And it sounds like you definitely got what you wanted.
Oh yeah, and we had people from our workshops. So one of them, Katie, she was doing the full spine. She took 6 days. Like she was like one of the last people in. I was like jealous of her fucking experience. I was like, what an experience
Proper
to have
holiday.
lived with yourself on the hill for that long. Like, what a fucking experience. Problem with me is I just want it over and done with as soon as possible because I don't like to faff. So I like to feel like I'm on a mission. So it's sort of like I'm thrashing living shit out myself, but I like to keep moving. But I just think that those people that take that time to be with themselves that long are absolute legends because I get sick of myself. I need someone else to talk to after a while because it's just fucking bored. Every time I saw Tom Hoyle, I was like, please, can I have a cuddle? I don't know if is that in the rules. I think he was giving everyone cuddles, guys.
Outside aid. That's
Cuddles were
outside aid.
cuddles were available to everybody from Tom. Um, but yeah, it was
Yeah, they would have been. They would have been from Tom.
yeah,
He's always available for cuddles.
he is in a nice way. But yeah, I had a great time. Well done, everyone. Well done, volunteers and spine team.
Mm,
Mm.
it's fine team. Yeah. So that's it then until January. So
Woohoo!
I will be seeing you again. I don't know. They're not letting me come back and do the podcast in residence, so I've got to come and like be sneaky and do podcasts somehow.
You've got to be
I'll do.
sneaky and do pocket. Do you know what happened last year when someone tried to be sneaky?
Oh yeah, yes, I do
They
remember. Yeah,
basically
yeah,
called the SAS in
yeah, they
to
did.
get him
Yeah,
removed.
snipers. Yeah, I won't be sneaky. I'll be up front, but I'll be
Why do you
back.
just not do the podcast? Do it at the end.
Yeah, could do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
No one's
always.
no one's clamoring for it. There's so much content. Everyone's got a phone. Don't bust your balls. Like,
Yeah, no, no, I'm not going to bust my balls.
get
No,
the go wait at the fucking end and just get them and say, come in.
I just love the race, and I like being around it. So
Come
I'll
and be
just
a
be
safety
there.
team.
Yeah,
Come and get in the safety team.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, cool. I've got to go now because I've got to do some more coaching and then I've got to go to
Yes,
the shop.
absolutely. Well, pleasure as always to have you, and look forward to seeing how you get on in January. All the best.
Okay, by the way, my podcast is podcasting residence at the Winter Spine. It's not really. I think that was funny.
How do you do that? How do
I'll
you
just
do a
do it on the
podcast on it?
hoof because I'm such an excellent like broadcaster. I'll just hoof it and be like, I won't because it will turn into the ramblings of a fucking insane person.
There will be some ramblings. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Either
I
way.
love you. I'm gonna leave now.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya. Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye, 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 bye.